My 76-year-old mother just pulled out of my driveway this morning. She's headed back down to Texas after a short visit here to Oklahoma. The great thing about my mom is that she does not arrive here with an expectation to be entertained. When she comes here for a visit, it's actually sort of a pseudo business trip for her, so there's really no need to wine her or dine her. You see, I've slowly come to realize through the years that while my mom allows her 3 grown children to live out in the world on their own, deep down inside, she really believes that she is the chief operating officer of her own corporation. We've just been calling it a family. When she seems like she's visiting here, she's actually working exhaustively behind the scenes, evaluating our operation. The more I think about it, she probably writes this trip off on her taxes. She rides shotgun in the seat beside me every day while I run my errands and perform my daily activities, and she offers an audible audit with complimentary suggestions on how I can improve my overall functionality. My performance is graded on categories ranging from seemingly minor issues such as profitability. Why do you buy straws at the grocery store when you can just grab a handful of straws for free at Subway? To potentially major and life-threatening issues. Good parents do not let their children play football. I'll go over this week's performance review and explain a few of the categories in which we fell well below the expectations of corporate. 1-800 How's My Driving? Just because you are behind the wheel of your very own big girl car and at a glance you appear to be the driver of said vehicle, you need to understand if my mom is anywhere in that car, she is the official driver of record. My mother, Doris, is actually the original Siri, and I promise you she makes Siri look meek and mild. She does not have to hide in your cell phone like a coward to tell you how to drive. My mother's sort of an upgrade. She tells you when to turn your blinker on, when to execute the turn, and exactly which parking space is going to be optimal once you've effectively mastered that turn sequence. And then when we're driving down the road, she'll sometimes shriek loudly if another car gets within several hundred feet of us. I think that's just to check my response and reflex time. And then when we do finally arrive back at my house after our errand, she anxiously jumps out of my car and then just guides me into my garage like she's landing a 747 jumbo jet. She is not the least bit daunted from this task when I remind her that I successfully pull in and out of my own garage a minimum of 5 to 10 times a day, whether or not she's in town. Driving Miss Doris, it's just an interactive experience and not for the easily intimidated. Another category I guess I'll call child protection, child endangerment. We received a needs improvement. So in addition to my typical hectic schedule of football practice and football games, basketball practice and basketball games, carpooling, grocery shopping, and all the other mommy minutia on my plate, this week provided the added challenge of an MRI on my son's recent football injury, along with the requisite orthopedic consultations and endless discussions with my spouse about whether or not to have an elective shoulder surgery, which would allow our son to continue to play football through his senior year. Well, this afforded Grandma the opportunity to assess our competence during a real-life parenting dilemma and grade us on our overall handling of a tough situation. I'm convinced that the only reason we scored slightly better in this category is because my husband was involved. This, without a doubt, falsely inflated my score. So here's the deal. My mom is madly in love with my husband. Her memory has somehow twisted around through the years, and she thinks that she raised him and then just met me at our wedding. Every single conversation that we had about the pros and cons of our son's shoulder surgery prompted my mom to shake her head in dramatic disappointment and offer pearls of wisdom such as, if he re-injures his shoulder, he won't do well on the ACT and get into a good college. Any rebuttal that I offered up, such as, Mom, his shoulder really doesn't affect his brain functioning, were just dismissed as flimsy excuses and further evidence of my weak and inept parenting skills. Another category she graded us on was home security. This grade was a definite fail. You may recall there was some controversy a while back over security at the White House, which eventually culminated in the resignation of the director of the Secret Service. Well, the problem over there at the White House is they just have the wrong people in charge. If y'all want to keep our White House safe, y'all need to fire all those Secret Service agents and hire widows in their 70s like my mother. The entire time she was here, she was convinced that someone was attempting to break into our home. All day, every day, to steal exactly what she would not say. She was appalled by our constant breaches of security. She pestered me over and over again to lock the doors. Finally, kind of exasperated, I said, but Mom, your grandson's out on the driveway shooting baskets. If we lock all the doors, won't we then effectively be locking him out there with all the bad guys? By the way, I want a couple of points added back to my child protection, child endangerment score for that. Yesterday, I took our trash can out to the street. I was gone for less than 2 minutes. In that short amount of time, my mom went behind me and locked every single door in my house. I stood outside freezing in my fuzzy red robe, knocking on my own door and ringing my own doorbell. Eventually, she came to one of the doors and she yelled in a terrified voice, "Who is it?" To which I responded, equally agitated, "It's me, Mom, your daughter, the homeowner." She pulled back the curtain and she saw it was me. She let a little sigh of relief and she let me in. So I really cannot imagine how difficult it is for her to drive away this morning, abandoning those precious grandchildren to be recklessly driven around to sporting events while people are breaking into our home left and right, stealing all our stuff. But she's a busy CEO. She can't spend all her time in Oklahoma. She has divisions down in Dallas, Texas, and Shreveport, Louisiana. That's right, I have siblings. They must be doing God only knows what to their kids, their homes, and their cars. I could call them right now and warn them to lock their doors, but why should I? I think I'll just share a little of that corporate love.